Hi, it's Martin, and I've entitled this as the Stew Leonard's Experience, but I think the proper title is This Is Our Time Together. Let me be specific. There is a grocery dairy store that is very popular, kind of like a go-to location for families, especially families with very young children. It is called Stew Leonard's and was based on an original business of delivering milk and eggs to local customers in Connecticut. It is now expanded to 8 locations. The stores have chickens in the parking lot as you come into the store, and many animations of singing figures. When children activate a small button, the show goes on. There are also figures dressed up like cows with black and white outfits, and it's along the lines of Disneyland or Disney World, where they interact with people, children, as you walk through the store. The motto of the store is displayed boldly as you enter on a stone tablet. Rule number 1, the customer is always right. Rule number 2, if there is ever a question about that, please revert back to rule number 1. This is really just for background for those who are not familiar with the store in the Connecticut and New York areas. My story really relates to a checkout person who, in essence, epitomizes everything that can be worthy of praise in such a contact position. Stew Leonard's a while back started a new app to offer customers certain price breaks or opportunities for free ice cream or free coffee when they attain a certain point level on the app. Ugh. It was a tough start. At the beginning, the app needed some work to clarify how to use it. And on a particular visit to the store, a woman before me was having trouble on her cell phone with it. The woman checking out was so patient with her and took a minute or two to explain what she needed to do on her phone. There was a line, but in some way, the checkout person did not give a lot of attention to that. I was next and wound up having similar problems. The checkout person began to take the time with me as she had done with the previous woman. I said, "Thank you, but there are a lot of customers in back of me." To my amazement, the checkout woman said, "This is our time together. They will be okay." If I'm not mistaken, I think I recall her name being Diane. It absolutely had an overwhelming effect on me that she viewed her role in that manner, and to give it such honor and importance was an eye-opener, and probably has affected me every time I now go to a checkout line with an attendant, which, as we all know, is becoming rarer and rarer in some stores. But think about it. In a way, it says that we are all important to each other, all the time, in every interaction. Another example is a woman who is a checkout person in a grocery store in our little town. Her name is Donna. Donna lights up the whole front of the store by her totally sincere, "How are you?" And upon leaving, "Have a beautiful day," or "Say hello to your wife," or "Take care." Always upbeat and welcoming, and a treasure for a store to have such an employee, as are so many other employees in this very special store. In another small luncheonette in our town, there is a woman who is serving customers with sharp memory of what you may have ordered in the past, and it could be weeks, could be a month or more. She knows it faster than you can say, I think I would like, Turns out she's really filling in as a waitress. In real life, she was an executive producer of commercials at a huge advertising firm in New York City that is based really in London. She has produced commercials for many of the very upscale products that her customers now use or drive. Kind, thoughtful, full of energy, but also filled with knowledge. But in the interim, what would you like today? Finally, I'm reading a book about Dorothy Day by Robert Coles. She had an extraordinary life in establishing soup kitchens and care centers in many cities so that those in need would not go hungry and also would have the opportunity to be clothed if they needed it. She also started a newspaper which became very, very successful, even though she virtually had no money to start it with. She just trusted. She tells the story of her most frightening experience. On one day, a very drunk, large sailor came to her soup kitchen in New York City. He told all of the people in the room to shut up and threatened a number of men that he would hurt them physically if they did not leave. Dorothy was serving soup and bread, and she went up to him and said that he was a great friend to us, and she thanked him for visiting the kitchen. His eyes were darting back and forth, and he said, "Why are you looking at me?" along with some chosen swear words. She answered that she was talking to him. She asked him his name, and he answered, "My name is Fred." She offered him soup, but he said only if she had some as well. She got 2 bowls, but he was not eating his. She offered hers, and he accepted. So they switched bowls, but he was still growling and seemed menacing. He ate the soup and had some more. He was still staring intently at her, and the whole room was still silent and fearful, thinking he might harm Dorothy and perhaps some of the others. She went on to another person, but assured him that he was welcome any time. He settled in and stopped his growling, and the people began to talk to one another again. Interestingly, early on the next day, the sailor came to the kitchen with bags of celery, carrots, onions, and potatoes. Dorothy greeted him, thanked him, and said, "Please, come back for lunch to have all of these beautiful vegetables." He did come back for lunch on that day, but also became a regular for lunch at the soup kitchen. Dorothy pretty much lived by a passage in Romans chapter 12, "Do not be overcome with evil, but overcome evil with good." So I want to thank you so much for listening, and farewell until the next time.